single months at the domestic box office ever. I couldn't get worldwide. I always prefer worldwide, but I just get domestic. So, and also present with the top 10, with the top 3 movies of that month. So basically, what this video is the singular months, like the month of a year with the most money made. So first, to start off this list, we have July 2019. I'm surprised this is the only 2019 featured on this list. We got all billion-dollar films here. The third highest grossing movie of this month was Toy Story 4, which grossed $162 million in the United States this month. But it released in June. Second was Spider-Man Far From Home, which ended up making $1 billion, as well, like Toy Story 4, and it grossed $351 million in the United States. But number 1 is The Lion King, which grossed $385 million in the United States. Lion King, however, what was there to say about Lion King? Oh yeah, Lion King actually had an opening of 191 million, and I think it was in theaters for 2 weekends in July. 9 is July 2007. I'm actually not surprised with this one, looking at the selection. Number 3 of the month was Ratatouille, which opened to didn't open, which in this month grossed 148 million, and it opened in the beginning of the month. Although it did have a Barbenheimer with Transformers. 2 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which in this month, and I think Order of the Phoenix released in the middle of July. Opened to 247, not opened, oh my god, I gotta correct myself. Grossed 247 million, but number 1 is Transformers, which made $287 million in July of 2007, but it had the whole month. 8 is December 2015. This one, the contrast between second and first is crazy. Number 3 was Daddy's Home. It's a comedy with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Marky. Which made $64 million in this month. Although I think it released in the last weekend of 2015. And 2 is Hunger Games Mockingjay, which made $68 million this month. And number 1 is Star Wars The Force Awakens, which made $651 million this month. Fun fact, Star Wars The Force Awakens is the biggest movie at the domestic box office, period. Ever. And it's crazy, in 2 weeks it made this much. I think actually in maybe 1 week. 2 weekends. 7 is July 2010. I'm actually looking at this selection. I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised by how 2 beat number 3. Number 3 is Inception, which made $184 million in this month. The DiCaprio hit. And it ended up becoming the 4th biggest film of the year. 2 was Despicable Me. I'm surprised Despicable Me beat Inception. And ending gross, there was a huge difference. In this month, Despicable Me made $185 million. But number 1 is the Twilight Saga Eclipse. I think that's the 3rd Twilight movie. Yeah, that's the 3rd Twilight movie. Which in this month, it made $218 million. Oh, old Robert Pattinson, man. 6 is July again. You're gonna see one more. There's gonna be one more reference that's not July. July 2012. I think 2012 was a pretty big year. 4 billion films. The 3rd biggest film of that year was Ted. And Ted of that month, and Ted released in June actually, so that's kind of weird. Was Ted made $157 million in this month and became among the biggest R-rated movies of all time as of today. Second place is The Amazing Spider-Man, which I think it says 7. I don't know what that says. I know it came out a week after Ted, so June 29th. I guess the 6th. I guess it would be the 6th. Anyway, so I guess we saw Andrew Garfield on the 6th of July. Anyway, and then, but number 1 is The Dark Knight Rises, which made $304 million in July 2012. But I think it actually had less of. But I think it opened later in the year. I know it had had like $170 million opening, which is kind of crazy. I think I actually recently started watching it. 5 is December 2017. After this, it's just July. You're just gonna see July. 3 is the 3rd biggest film from this month with $97 million was Coco. Coco ended up making over 800 million. Second place for this month was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which made 170 million. And Jumanji was a less successful. Jumanji, was a less successful movie in December, so I'm surprised it made this much. Because it had competition with Star Wars. But in January of 2018 and February, it became the blockbuster we know it to be. But number one was Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which I think it had an opening of above 200 million. And, yeah, wait, had an opening above 200 million. And in this month, made 517 million. And it released on the 15th, so about exactly halfway through the month. Not exactly. Fourth, this is the most recent one, July 2023. Number 3 was The Sound of Freedom. I have no idea what this movie is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. But it made $151 million in this month. Number 2 was Oppenheimer, which made $181 million in this month. And number 1 is Barbie, which made $366 million in this month. It's kind of funny that Oppenheimer and Barbie have almost exactly. Barbie has almost exactly twice as much as Oppenheimer. Of course, we have Barbenheimer on this list. Then we go exactly 10 years past, and then we go to exactly 10 years into the past with July 2013. The third place went to The Heat. I've never heard of this movie until today, which made $104 million this month. Second place went to Grown Ups 2, which made $106 million this month. And I think Grown Ups is Adam Sandler's 5th most successful movie after the Hotel Transylvania trilogy and the first Grown Ups. But number 1 is Despicable Me 2, which made $313 million in this month. Also in this month, we also had The Conjuring and Pacific Rim. 2 was July 2016. I'm surprised this was so high, but I guess it's reasonable now. The third biggest film of this month was The Legend of Tarzan, and I didn't even think it did that well, Legend of Tarzan. But it made $121 million in this month. Second place was Finding Dory, and Finding Dory came out on June 17th, so I'm surprised it was still doing. It made $138 million in that month. But the number one film was The Secret Life of Pets, which made $296 million in that month. I know Secret Life of Pets was a crazy successful movie. I just didn't know the exact number. Number 1 is July 2011. At first I was like, what is in 2011? But now I understand. No, sorry for that. Now I understand. There's a lot of big movies in 2011 that I honestly understand. Third place, the third biggest film of that month was Captain America: The First Avenger. And I'm honestly surprised because of the timing. It released a week after Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And Captain America made $117 million this month, and overall made $370 million globally. Second place went to Transformers: Dark of the Moon. And remember this, I'm actually not sure if it released in July. I think I'm not sure if Transformers: Dark of the Moon released in July or it's June. I think July. Transformers: Dark of the Moon made $273 million domestically in July, and ended up making, ended up making over $1 billion and becoming the franchise's biggest film. And that's a lot because Transformers franchise is crazy big. But the biggest film, but the highest grossing movie in the highest grossing month ever is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which grossed $318 million domestically. And worldwide, it made about $1 billion more than this. Sorry. That'll be all for today's video on the highest grossing months at the domestic box office ever. Drop down in the comments what you thought would be on this list. I know there's no January, obviously. There's no February, there's no March, no April. I'm surprised no April because Avengers, Infinity War and stuff. There's no May. I'm surprised there's no May or June. You know, there's only July and March. I'll check out later. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, drop down in the comments what you'd put on this video, and can't wait to see what you thought was on this would be on this list, and check out my channel for more content like this. Bye.